There are moments in life when everything changes in a single heartbeat. For me, that moment came not once, but twice at the same time. Carrying twins felt like holding two miracles within me, but it also meant stepping into unknown territory filled with uncertainty, vulnerability, and strength I didn't know I possessed. What was supposed to be a joyful countdown turned into hospital rooms, whispered medical terms, and days that felt longer than entire months. Hospitalization during a twin pregnancy is something no one truly prepares you for. It tests your patience, your faith, your body, and your mind. Today, I want to share my experience, the fragile moments, the silent fears, and the unexpected resilience that carried me through one of the most challenging chapters of my life. Pregnancy is often described as magical, but when you are expecting twins, that magic comes wrapped in intensity. Double the heartbeat, double the movement, double the love, but sometimes double the risk. In this video, I'm sharing my journey through hospitalization during a twin pregnancy, including the emotional storms, the physical challenges, and the quiet victories that helped me endure long periods of bed rest. If you are currently navigating a high-risk pregnancy, supporting someone who is, or simply seeking stories of resilience and hope, this video is for you. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may need encouragement today. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that truly need them. Hospitalization during a twin pregnancy. My experience sharing delicate moments, fears, and overcoming challenges during periods of bed rest or hospitalization began long before I was admitted to the hospital. It started with subtle warnings from my body, gentle signs that carrying two lives required more than excitement and preparation. I had imagined decorating a nursery, folding tiny clothes, and planning double celebrations, but instead I found myself studying medical charts and learning new vocabulary that suddenly became part of my daily reality. Words like monitoring, preterm risk, and restricted activity began to echo in my mind. The joy of feeling two sets of kicks inside me remained powerful. Yet it was accompanied by a growing awareness that this pregnancy demanded stillness, patience, and surrender in ways I had never anticipated. The day my doctor suggested hospitalization felt surreal, as though the ground beneath my carefully planned expectations had shifted. I remember sitting quietly, absorbing the explanation that bed rest at home might no longer be enough. My body needed constant observation, and my babies needed the security of immediate medical support. The ride to the hospital was filled with conflicting emotions. I felt fear creeping in, but also a strange sense of relief, knowing I would be in a place equipped to respond if anything changed. Walking into that hospital room, I realized that my world had suddenly narrowed to four walls, a hospital bed, and two monitors that displayed the rhythms of the little hearts I carried inside me. Bed rest sounds simple in theory, but in practice, it is an emotional marathon. Days that once moved quickly now stretched endlessly, marked only by meal trays, nurse check-ins, and scheduled ultrasounds. I had always been active, independent, and constantly in motion, so being instructed to remain still felt unnatural and frustrating. My body felt heavy, not just from pregnancy but from immobility. Yet I knew every hour spent lying down was an investment in my baby's safety. I began to reframe stillness as strength. Each moment of restraint became a silent promise that I was doing everything possible to protect the two lives growing within me. The physical sensations of a twin pregnancy intensified during hospitalization. The weight of my abdomen pressed against my back, making sleep fragmented and uncomfortable. Simple movements required assistance, and even turning in bed demanded careful effort. I felt stretched beyond what I thought my body could handle, as if it were expanding not only physically but emotionally. The monitors attached to my belly tracked contractions and heartbeats, creating a constant reminder that my pregnancy existed in a delicate balance. Sometimes the machines beeped unexpectedly, and my heart would race before a nurse calmly adjusted a sensor. Living with that constant vigilance forced me to confront my vulnerability in ways I had never experienced before. Fear often visited me at night when the hospital corridors grew quiet and my thoughts grew louder. During the day there were distractions, tests, visits, medical conversations, but at night I faced my worries alone. I wondered if my babies were strong enough, if my body would hold on long enough, if I would reach the milestone weeks doctors emphasized so carefully. I learned that fear does not always announce itself dramatically. Sometimes it lingers like a shadow in the corner of your room. Yet even in those moments, I would place my hands over my belly, feel a small kick, and remind myself that life was still moving forward inside me. One of the most delicate aspects of hospitalization was the loss of normalcy. I missed simple routines, making my own breakfast, stepping outside for fresh air, sitting on my couch surrounded by familiar comfort. The hospital environment, though supportive, felt clinical and distant from the warmth of home. I realized how much I had taken ordinary freedoms for granted. However, I also began to appreciate small comforts in new ways. The sunlight filtering through the window, a reassuring smile from a nurse, a steady heartbeat echoing through the monitor. Gratitude became my quiet companion, helping me transform sterile surroundings into a space of temporary sanctuary. The medical team became an unexpected source of strength. Nurses adjusted pillows, monitored vital signs, and spoke with calm reassurance that anchored me during uncertain moments. Doctors explained risks and progress with measured optimism, carefully balancing honesty with hope. I learned to trust their expertise and to advocate for myself when I needed clarity. Their presence reminded me that I was not facing this journey alone. Hospitalization often feels isolating, but within those walls I discovered a network of professionals committed to safeguarding my pregnancy. Their dedication gave structure to my days and provided a layer of stability when my emotions felt unpredictable. Despite constant monitoring, progress felt slow and fragile. Each additional week of pregnancy became a victory worth celebrating internally. I began marking time not by calendar dates, but by gestational milestones. Reaching one more week meant stronger lungs, improved development, and better chances for my twins. These incremental achievements transformed my perspective. Instead of focusing solely on the uncertainty ahead, I concentrated on daily progress. Patience became my greatest challenge and my greatest teacher. I learned that endurance is often quiet and invisible, built not through dramatic acts but through consistent resilience over long stretches of waiting. Emotionally, I fluctuated between hope and exhaustion. Some mornings I woke up feeling empowered, confident that my body could sustain this journey. Other days, fatigue settled deeply into my bones, making even optimism feel heavy. Hormonal shifts amplified every emotion, turning minor concerns into overwhelming waves. I discovered the importance of mental discipline during that time. I practiced breathing slowly, visualizing my babies growing stronger, and reminding myself that this chapter, though difficult, was temporary. These mental exercises did not erase fear, but they prevented it from taking control of my entire narrative. Support from loved ones carried immense weight during hospitalization. Visits, messages, and small gestures bridged the distance between the hospital room and the outside world. Even brief conversations provided reminders that life continued beyond medical routines. Knowing that others were hoping, praying, and believing in a positive outcome strengthened my resolve. Isolation is one of the hardest parts of extended hospital stays, but connection, even in simple forms, becomes a powerful medicine. I learned that accepting help is not a sign of weakness, but an acknowledgement that shared strength multiplies resilience. There were moments when complications threatened to undo the fragile stability we had achieved. Sudden contractions or unexpected test results triggered immediate evaluations, and I felt the tension rise in the room. In those instances, time seemed suspended. I became acutely aware of every sensation in my body, every movement inside my womb. Yet even during those scares, I noticed a shift within myself. Instead of panicking immediately, I began responding with measured calm. Hospitalization had taught me to breathe through uncertainty, to trust the process, and to understand that setbacks did not automatically mean failure. As days turned into weeks, I started to see hospitalization not as confinement but as preparation. It was teaching me endurance, patience, and unconditional commitment. Carrying twins required me to surrender control in ways I had resisted before. I could not accelerate time or guarantee outcomes. I could only remain present and attentive. That realization reshaped my understanding of strength. Strength was not pushing forward relentlessly. It was staying still when stillness was required. It was trusting that unseen growth was happening, even when progress felt invisible. Physically confined, my inner world expanded. I reflected on motherhood and the responsibility of nurturing not one, but two distinct lives. I imagined their personalities, their bond, and the unique connection they would share. These reflections transformed fear into anticipation. Instead of dwelling solely on risks, I began envisioning possibilities. I pictured holding them, hearing two cries at once, and witnessing the miracle of their synchronized existence. Hope became a deliberate practice rather than a passive emotion. Eventually, the day came when doctors determined it was time for delivery. The culmination of weeks of vigilance and patience arrived with a mix of urgency and relief. As I was prepared for birth, I felt gratitude for every monitored heartbeat, every enforced hour of rest, every difficult night. Hospitalization had not been the pregnancy I imagined, but it had been the protection my babies needed. When I finally heard their cries, overlapping and powerful, I understood that every moment of stillness had been an act of love that carried us safely to that transformative day. Looking back, I recognize that hospitalization during a twin pregnancy reshaped me profoundly. It revealed fears I did not know I harbored and strength I did not know I possessed. The experience taught me that vulnerability and resilience coexist, that stillness can be powerful, and that sometimes the most important progress happens quietly behind closed doors. Sharing delicate moments, fears, and overcoming challenges during periods of bed rest or hospitalization is not just about recounting hardship. It is about honoring the courage required to endure uncertainty for the sake of new life. That chapter remains one of the most demanding and meaningful journeys I have ever undertaken. If you are walking through a season of forced stillness, uncertainty, or medical vulnerability, know that strength often grows in the quietest places. Hospitalization during a twin pregnancy taught me that progress is not always visible, and courage is not always loud. Sometimes courage is choosing to trust, to wait, and to believe even when answers feel distant. Every extra day, every small milestone, every heartbeat matters more than we realize. Challenges may reshape your plans, but they can also reshape your understanding of resilience. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs reassurance today, and remember that even in the most fragile moments, hope can remain steady and powerful.